Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is doing good. NFL Scouting Combine is underway. We saw the linebackers and defensive line last night, yesterday, and it was good. We saw a lot of great talent, and one player that I'm definitely on tap for is Jared Verse, Scouting Report, Florida State Seminoles. This guy is an absolute baller. Every time you just dive into that film, you just see more and more things you do like about his game. He is so strong, so good, and I got pros, cons, and a final grade score for y'all because he could legit be a top 15 pick in this NFL draft. He is one of these dudes that you're looking for if you require help on the defensive line. So let's talk a little Jared Verse, Florida State Seminoles. So before we get started, everybody sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code COVER1. I understand there is no NFL football to do these pick'em challenges, but you will be having some draft season coming very soon. You know it's coming, and there's other sports that you can do the pick'em challenges. Use promo code COVER1 and sign up for Underdog Fantasy today. It is always good stuff. But let's talk some Jared Verse. Like I'm saying, the two-time All-American, played his time first a year or two, I believe, at Albany, and then he transferred over to Florida State, and he is a very talented prospect. A big fan, like I'm saying. I love this guy's game. He might be my favorite out of the entire class when it comes to defensive edge, man. Let's talk about those measurables. As per always, 6'3", 254. He is 23 years of age, played in 25 contests, 89 total tackles, 29.5 tackles for loss, 18 sacks in 2 seasons. Very strong, 0 picks. 3 passes defended, 2 forced fumble recoveries, and 1 forced fumble on his resume. So stat line, statistically speaking, he was a dominating force, especially when you're talking about the tackles for loss, almost in the 30 range. You're talking about a penetrating force on the defensive front is what you require, getting after quarterbacks, getting after the running backs, helping support the run game, and oh man, 18 sacks is good enough for me to put him on my top list. I do like Jared Verse quite a bit, even though you got a guy like Dallas Turner's making waves at the combine as well. I do like Jared Verse a lot, but let's talk some pros. Great size and frame, man. Strong frame, upper and lower body. I got no qualms about it, and I think there is still room to grow in this man's frame. No question, all the way down my pro board. I don't think he's a finished product whatsoever. Very strong, and he's going to continue in an NFL weight room. Could add a nice 10 to 15 pounds on that frame and still not lose any type of skill set when it comes to burst off the line. Absolutely fantastic when you're talking about a player that gets after the quarterback who is great at his craft, getting off the line. It's not only, the burst that I saw and witnessed in his film, it was more even the understanding the snap counts, watching that snap count and being that instinctive to get off the ball that quick. Double pluses for me, but burst off the line, absolutely fantastic. When you got both of those, you're getting after the quarterback and you're going to make life very difficult for these offensive tackles, man. Closing speed is very good. While we're going to suggest maybe in the full end speed, it's not as great, even though he did run, a 4.59 at his size, extremely quick and fast, but it doesn't translate on the field as you want to say for top-end speed. But it does, in short area quickness, when you talk about the accelerators, you talk about the burst and him tracking ball carriers, unbelievable in the closing speed aspect, and I do love that about his game. He will get after the quarterback on the rollouts. He will go after these running backs, and it is very good to make a play in the backfield. Bull rush is absolutely ridiculous in this man when he plants his helmet face mask right in the chest blades of these offensive tackles. They're feeling it, man, and he's pushing them all the way back into the quarterback's grill. So every part of his game does come with, you want to see the versatility, and that's kind of where I'm going in this as well. His rush technique in many aspects. He's got the finesse. He's got the power moves, the swim, the slap, the power. He's got it all. It's everything you're looking for and coveting from your defensive edge presence, man. But when you see that bull rush hit, he definitely pushes these guys back and makes them pay and take notice of how strong he really is. So hence why, if he does add another 10 to 15 pounds in the pros, he's going to be that much more dominating when it comes to these bull rush attributes that he does have. The versatility, like I'm saying, so good. Footwork is nice. It's clean. He's got light feet, even for a guy his size. You want to see him, kind of floating out there, and that's kind of what he's doing. I don't want to say necessarily that it's overly fluid, but it is light feet for me enough to say it is a checkbox in my respect. He's going to at least challenge that in the finesse aspect, and that's what you require when you see some guys that are extremely athletic and they got the, ankle torque and the body bend, I'm not going to say it's necessarily in a Jared Verse, but his footwork is nice enough for you to at least mask whatever he does lose in the bend. Sound motor, he does not quit on plays, whether it is the running backs, whether it is the quarterback. He is making plays. He's going to continue, even if he's out of position, misses his gap, misses the tackle. He's going to try and attempt to continue to play. His motor is very good. Do like that. One of the best parts about his game that I did love was his angle awareness. It's straight up legit, y'all. He will take the appropriate angles. It's very rare you see him miss the angle to go after a ball carrier. I do love that about it, because when you have a guy with great closing speed and he does take the angle, it actually, helps aid in his pass rush ability to at least get penetration and blow up a play when he is taking those angles properly. How many times we see in the NFL guys take missed angles and other offensive players make a huge play? You don't see this very often from a Jared Verse. He is so good in that respect, and he will make people pay when he does take the angle right, because he's always in the right play to make a tackle, man. Sound tackler, wrap and drop, almost like that bear hug, JT style, or LT style, excuse me, Lawrence Taylor back in the day, where you used to see him, do those bear hug, try to get the ball out from the quarterback. That's exactly what a Verse does. It's so good. I mean, okay, his arm span is maybe not as, elite on the measurables, but I mean, it looks elite when he's going after, and it's just like full-blown bear hug, arms in the air. So good. Solid wrap, tackle, and drop. Very good in that respect. He reminds me a lot of a DeMarcus Ware, the current Hall of Famer, excuse me. We did see Daniel Jeremiah comp a Verse to somebody like a Will Anderson. I like to comp a little bit more to a DeMarcus Ware. I think he is in that same type of body of work. We can never compare a rookie to a Hall of Famer, but I think that, based on how he plays football, it's very reminiscent, and you do see a lot of these traits out of his game that you do like when it comes to a DeMarcus Ware. So I'm going to say it's not necessarily a full comp. It's just very similar playing style that you do like to see. And I mean, the size, stature does almost, fit the bill as well in that respect, but I do like his game a lot. I think there's a heaping amount of pros that you can get on board with, and with good solid coaching, Jared Verse is going to be a dominating presence in the NFL, but he's got some cons. We got to touch the cons like always. Overall tape speed is just okay for me. And okay, what are you really expecting out of your defensive end? You're not wanting him to run, 40 yards down the field. So it's just one of these things you got to highlight because it just isn't there. But with the closing speed, short area quickness, the burst off the line, it's more than enough for me to be acceptable with this, to say the overall tape speed is. If he gets an interception, let's just say he's likely not taking it to the house, and that's fine. You're not really looking at that from your defensive ends anyway, but he's got more than enough to at least chase him to the boundary and take down these ball carriers, quarterbacks, or running backs. No question about that. He can lose his footing at times once engaged. I have seen it a few times. Has to reset his body control, almost like they push him up in the air and he kind of, jumps backward a little bit. It's nothing to be overly concerned about. It is all about just technique. With good, solid coaching, he will definitely round that out of his game. But you do see when they are, keen, these offensive tackles, on whatever move he is doing on them, they usually give the power back to him, gets him kind of pushed back because he is a force coming off that line. It's, again, not glaring, but you did see a few times where it was, him losing his footing, kind of getting pushed off his spot, and you didn't like that. You want to see him always be the catalyst to do the force, but it does happen from time to time when you take a wrong, push angle off your step, your first step off the burst, but it is something there that I definitely did notice from time to time. He can overshoot his gaps, and I mean, he does attempt to recover, like I'm saying. He does lose position, especially when he's trying to do a stunt going down the line, and if they do, put the wave on him on the offensive line, he does lose, his gaps a little bit. He can overshoot it and try to make a play, but he is very good with that motor to try to recover, try to get back in a place to at least be that presence to lock up the line. Again, not a great glaring concern. It is just these things that you do see out of his game. Some of these guys, you really are searching for a lot of these cons, and these are types of ones that, I can say, you can absolutely live with because you can round him out of his game. Ben does view as a little stiff for me, and I'm saying maybe not all. I've seen some that say he's extremely fluid. I just don't see that. You got to have that top-end fluidity for me to give you that checkbox. In this sense, he does the bend around, he gets around. The ankle flexation is absolutely supreme. But when you're talking about hip flexation and hip bend and, you know, that really fluid athletic ability, even though he's a supreme athlete, it just views a little stiff. It's not an inhibitor whatsoever for me to suggest that it's going to be a problem in the pros, but it's just one of those things you do see. While his body frame is extremely stout, you do see the bend to be a little bit stiff at times, and I don't think it's going to be a big problem for him anyway because he is so productive in other aspects of his game that he will get after the quarterback and be a nuisance in that backfield penetrating. No question about that. But for grading purposes, you guys know this, we got to give these guys grade scores because, I mean, we got to see potential in the NFL, and he definitely is one of my favorites. A good one, scored very well, 81.5% on his grade score. He is an exceptional talent for me. He is a boss. He is a grown-ass man, and he is going to pay dividends day one in the NFL, no question. Top 15 pick, in my opinion, without even blinking. He is that good. He will continue to grow. And if he does, like I said, put on that 10 to 15 pounds of more added strength, this guy's going to be a force on this field, and I think he's going to be, even where he's drafted, a definite great return on investment. So there you have it. That is Florida State Seminoles defensive end Jared Verse. He is a great player, great prospect, and absolutely, man, who wouldn't want a pass rusher who gets after the quarterback with ease, with a lot of different ways and techniques and value? He's going to be one of these guys everybody's going to take notice of once he is playing in the NFL. Very sound talent. I'm a big fan, but nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts. What are y'all thinking of Jared Verse? You like him? You don't like him? I mean, he tested pretty well at the combine. I mean, I know a lot of people don't care about the combine. I do. It's good stuff. But nevertheless, as always, we'll see you next time. I am out.